for your beautiful energy. Thank you for being here. And again, welcome to you too. So we've got a whole new month here, the month of June, and we're moving into a new theme. And the theme for this month is a mindful life. And we're going to be focusing primarily on Buddhist teachings. But today I'm sort of wrapping up a series of talks I gave over the month of March, where we talked about our true prosperity. And so I'm finishing up, so I'm combining the idea of finding our divine purpose in life for ourselves, and also doing that in a mindful way. So, May meets June, a mindful life. So what is your life's purpose? I want you to just think about that as I talk through this this morning. I want you to have that question rolling around inside of your heart. What is my purpose? Why am I here? And I think that life has already given us all of the answers to that, but they're buried somewhere deep inside us. They're very deep inside us, and they're little hints that we can choose to see or not. And so I think that just knowing that we're alive, that's the first hint. We're alive. And so we get to be life. We get to be fully expressing life. Maybe that's our purpose, period. And maybe we've got confused with our rational mind, our reasoning mind, trying to figure something grand out, when really we've been doing it all along. We just have been doing it unconsciously. You've been living a life unconsciously. Does that seem to fit a little bit? So maybe the very gift of life is our purpose. And so are you enjoying what you're doing, would be the first question. Are you enjoying this life that you are experiencing right now? It's so funny because everyone's like sitting on the side of the room and I'm talking to an empty space in the middle. So I'm going to go back and forth. I almost feel like I am a conductor. You know, this side, okay, you sing this, and you sing this. Anyway, back to life. So the fact that we're here and we're alive is really something. We could just sit here for the next 20 minutes and deepen into the thought of, oh my God, I'm alive. What am I going to do with this information? What am I going to do with this information that I'm alive? And we've got this, for most part, we already are aware of this. I'm not telling you something you don't already know. But are you living fully vibrant, fully engaged? Are you living the life that you want to live? Have you created your experience the way you like it? Is it a fit? Does it feel good? Are you happy? Do you feel free? Do you have the resources to do and be and have whatever it is that you want? Because in the science of mind, that's what we teach. That we are responsible for creating a life that we love and that blesses and uplifts others. So there's another little hint that the universe has given us. It is that life is so different. There's so many unique aspects to this thing. None of us are identical. Just have a look around the room. We are completely different people. We look different, we smell different, we've got different tastes, different ways of viewing the world. We're not cookie cutters. We're all unique. So we get to have, maybe our purpose isn't just about living a life, a rich, full life of fun and meaning, but maybe it's about living it in our unique way. So I ask you this, are you expressing yourself in a very unique way to you? Or do you sort of have voices in the back of your head or from the past that are still dictating how you should live your life. Because really, we're here to live a unique, radically unique, one-of-a-kind life. So what is your purpose? It's something for you to discover, for each of us, because how could we all be created so differently and uniquely and each have a similar purpose? It wouldn't really make sense. So we're all here to define for ourselves our unique path and our unique purpose. And because we're beings that change, we're constantly in this evolving process, this process of evolution, where maybe our purpose changes all the time, day after day. Or maybe it's saying, maybe you've heard that saying, for a reason, a season, a lifetime. Maybe we've got a purpose, we have a purpose in our teens that's different from in our 20s and in our 30s and in our 40s. So it's an evolutionary process. It's always changing. It's always unique. That's kind of relieving. That's satisfying. That tells me that I'm a part of this one world, this one happening, this one life, and my role is to be unique and go with the flow and ever-changing. It gives me a sense of power and responsibility for creating something of value. That really turns me on. The idea of having to do it someone else's way, that really turns me off. What turns me on is me being me and me standing in my power and expressing my unique essence, whatever that might be. How about you? Yes. Yeah? Good. Thought I was in the wrong room for a minute. Just kidding. So I was reading a book this week, and it's called Elegant Choices, Healing Choices, Finding Grace and Wholeness in Everything We Choose by Martha Sintar. And she talks about self-definition. She says that we define ourselves first. We have to know who we are for ourselves first. And that's a question that you've heard a lot of spiritual teachers present to you, I'm sure. Who are you? This question, who are you? And maybe you go to India, you sit in front of a yogi, they say, who are you? And they say, now go for a year and figure that out and then come back. So this is the spiritual quest. It's finding out who we are. So once we define that for ourselves, then she says, we define ourselves for others. So what does that mean? Once we've figured out who we are, then we get the job of sharing that with those around us. I didn't get this for many years. I thought, okay, I'm doing all this self-work, this depth work, figuring out who I am. Now I know inside this mind and inside this heart who I am. I love to paint. I enjoy cooking. I love to create community. I love to be a part of community. I love to study. I love to become self-realized. I love to meditate. I love to take courses in Diksha. I know who I am, and I know what I love and what I don't care for. But also, that's not the end of this journey of finding out who you are. It's then, how do you then share that with other people? Now, I grew up in England, and part of the conditioning there is to be seen and not heard. And part of the conditioning in England is also not to be the tall poppy. That means not to stand out. Who do you think you are? That type of mentality. Well, I came to America and got over that one quickly, so that was good. So, we learn who we are, and then we are sometimes restricted by our environment, by our culture. It dictates who we are, so we maybe get a little fearful on really sharing that with others. So we have some self-talk that tells us that it's okay that you know who you are, but you don't need to tell others who you are. They can somehow read your mind. No, they can't read your mind. And I tried this for many, many years, I'd say, until I'm still getting over this tall poppy syndrome. But that's what she's talking about when she says, define yourself for yourself, then define yourself for others. People cannot read our minds. We have to be willing to be vulnerable enough to share who we are, what we like, what we think about. Anyone else have issues or challenges sharing themselves with others, or is it just me? Yeah. Oh, we have reasons, right? Well, what will they think about us? Or, my thoughts and likes and interests aren't that important. Or, things of that nature. Well, they are. Because if you're not truly expressing yourself to others, then you're really showing up as a facade. You're showing up as a face, but what's behind that face? So it's your job, it's my job, to share that with the world and have confidence that everyone's interested in that. And even if they're not interested in that, who cares? Who cares? So I'd love to see a show of hands. Who in this room would like to get to know the other people in this room a little better? Right, so we all have permission to talk about ourselves to each other, right? You've just seen hands go up saying, I'd like to get to know you more. So now you've got permission. If you've been feeling shy, or you haven't felt that it's the right time or the right crowd, we know now. This is the crowd that wants to get to know you. This is a crowd that is interested in you. So maybe you try it out here for the first time. Being a bit more bold, saying what you're interested in, sharing some of the things that you've been up to, sharing some of your visions and your dreams, maybe sharing some of your past. This is a group of people it's safe to do that with, right? Yeah. Okay, so define yourself for yourself, define yourself for others, and then the last one is live out the knowledge of that. Live out the knowledge of that. So how do you take that out into your world? You know who you are, you've defined yourself, you've defined yourself for others, so others know your boundaries, others know what you're willing to do and what you're not. Yeah? How do you take that out into the world, into the workplace? How do you share that with your grandchildren? That's a very important thing. How do you share, what will be the legacy you leave? Will your grandchildren actually know who you are? Have you defined yourself to the degree that shines through your eyes and is expressed through your heart in a very authentic and genuine way? Maybe that's your purpose. Yeah? Okay, I was reading Ralph Waldo Emerson this week, and I know that somebody else in this room is reading some of Emerson's essays. But before I get to Emerson, this is one quote from Martha Sintar. It is the rare person who can accept, without self-rebuke, the length of time it takes to find the way back to the natural joy, playfulness, and originality that constitutes full personhood. Would you read it again? Yes. So, we're all on this journey, correct? We're on this journey of waking up to who we really are. And I have an inkling that when we're children, we know who we really are. We have more of a sense of who we really are, our playfulness, our love, our sense of freedom and adventure. Would you agree? Mm-hmm. And then over time, it kind of gets dulled down by us trying to please everyone around us. So, this is talking to that journey. It is the rare person who can accept without self-rebuke the length of time it takes to find the way back to that natural joy, playfulness, and originality that constitutes full personhood. Okay. And so as I started to think of that, I've been on this path, conscious spiritual path, for some time. I've been exquisitely intrigued with what it means to wake up spiritually ever since I was a child. And I've walked this path with many other people. And so something I hear that's a common theme is, and I say it myself, is, oh my God, I know better than this. You know, I find that I'm in challenging situations and maybe I've got some negative self-talk going on. And I say to myself, God, I should know better than this at this point. You know, I've been on this path for so long. And so I think this is just a little suggestion, is that you're easy with yourself. You know, waking up to who we really are, waking up to our divine purpose, it's not a destination. It's the journey we're on. And there's not a destination point that we're going to reach and then, oh, we're fully awake. Now I know who I am. I'm going to be the presence of love, absolute peace, joy, and freedom all the time now. It doesn't work that way. We're living in this third dimension. We're having this human experience that is continuously changing and offering us opportunities to express our divinity. And it's not always easy, because sometimes we get pissed off. Sometimes we get frustrated. Sometimes we feel sad or alone or depressed. And so we have to be gentle with ourselves. It's a part of the human condition. It's okay. It's okay. In the past, maybe we pitched a tent there and stayed there, but now we know that it's just something that comes and goes. This part of the cycle of life. We can be easier with ourselves as we fall into those holes sometimes. So just a little suggestion that you love yourself a bit more along this healing journey. Anyway, back to Ralph Waldo Emerson. He talks about self-reliance. Has anyone read Emerson's essays? A couple of people? Excellent. If you'd like to read one of the forefathers of New Thought, one of the transcendentalists from New England, one of the radical thinkers that just shook things up, turned things upside down, then read some Ralph Waldo Emerson, or Troward would be another suggestion I have. Anyway, he talks about self-reliance, looking within for answers. It is we ourselves who must legitimize and structure our experience, even as we pull in ideas, images, and input from external sources. So what does that say? That means that we are responsible to take what's happening along the way, along the journey. Even those well-intended people that give us advice, our family members. And we get to decide, once we are self-realized, once we wake up to who we are, once we define ourselves as a living, breathing being, we get to decide who has voting power in our lives. We get to decide who influences our decisions. We develop a discerning element to our being that knows what's good for us and what's not. What smells like BS, belief system, loves that, and what doesn't. So this self-realization and self-reliance is about us developing discernment about what works for us and what doesn't. And because we're all unique, because we're all on our own path, we may have different views from other people on this, of what's of value and what's not. You know, you just talked about all of the different religions. You know, sometimes maybe I'm a little bit Buddhist. Sometimes maybe I really love the Master Teacher Jesus' input and wisdom. You know, we can gain input and guidance, not only from those enlightened sages and whatnot, but from each other. You know, what body of work serves me? Do I feel like doing some Diksha now? Or am I going to be a spiritual mind practitioner here and rely on my mental capacities? You know, we get to decide and discern what's for us on this journey. And we get to share that with those around us. Very important. He says nothing is as sacred, nothing is sacred, as sacred, but the integrity of your own mind. Your own mind. And really that's what we teach here at the Satya Center, is learning the power of your own mind. Learning how important it is to be a master of your own mind. Learning how to befriend your mind. Learning how to utilize your mind in service of your life. Because our thoughts and our words are our most creative tool. That's not quite true. Our love is our most creative tool. But we give voice to that love, and we give movement to that love, to that intention, through our thoughts and through our words. And then he finishes with, trust thyself. Trust thyself. Every heart vibrates to that iron string. Every heart vibrates to that iron string of self-knowing, self-confidence, self-trust. Do you trust yourself? As you're waking up, as you're discovering who you are, as you're strengthening that discernment muscle, you have to trust that heart within you to guide you, to lead you, to open you up to new possibilities and potentialities. So Dr. Ernest Holmes says, and I love this is about self-reliance here. We are a part of the evolution of human destiny. We are part of the unfoldment of the divine intelligence in human affairs. So as we wake up to the next clue, this hint, number one, we're alive. Number two, we're unique. And number three is that we are one. We're all connected. We're all part of this whole. Even though we're unique, individualized aspects, we're all a part of this one life, this one power, this one presence. And so when we realize who we are, and we take full responsibility, knowing that we are a part of humanity, we have to know that we're connected to everything. So every choice we make affects the whole web. And so with that becomes a responsibility to walk this road with peace and love and harmony, knowing that the decisions we make have ripple out effects and will touch many generations. You know, we can even do healing work today that heals the past. We're doing it right now in this room right here. We're doing healing work right now, just as you're hearing me. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. We're just remembering together. We're remembering. We're remembering that we have an influence on everything. So, what does that mean for you? As you're waking up to who you are, your aliveness, your uniqueness, your purpose. Why are you here? Your purpose isn't something that's going to just fall out of the sky. You're not going to, the clouds aren't going to part and a big scroll fall down and it said, boom, your purpose is to be a florist or something. Not going to happen. Your purpose is revealed when you have the ears to hear it. It is revealed in the song of your heart. It is revealed through what it is that you love to do. As the master teacher says, as a man thinketh, as a woman thinketh in her heart, so is she. That's a clue. You know, you can actually take ancient texts and read them with a metaphysical eye and be blown away by the secret messages that are in those texts. Try it. His heart, so is he. That's a clue. What do you love? What do you love to do? What are your values? What do you truly value in life? I want everyone to think of something right now. Something that you value, not something that you do, not one of the tangible things. Oh, I like to paint. What do you value? Do you value love? Do you value beauty? Do you value community? Do you value, what are these untangible things? What is it for you? And it might change tomorrow, but think of something, one word right now that you value. You think of something? Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's have a couple people over here say a word. What do you value? Friendships. Okay. Who else?
My family.
Family. Yes. Nature.
Connection.
Connection. Peace.
Kindness.
Kindness.
Community.
Passion. Passion.
Love.
Love. I'm going to insist that everyone say something. Come on, we're talking about defining who we are and speaking it out loud. Let's hear it. Everyone in this room say something just to unleash this potential from you. Because what you think about comes about. What you give yourself permission to say out loud becomes your experience. That's how this... Oh, it's time. We came to the end. Okay, so who didn't go? And I want you to just be brave and say it out loud. Don't raise your hand, just say it. Nature. Say it again. Okay, on the count of 3, I want everyone to say it out loud. Really loud this time so we disturb the floor. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. All right, so here we go. We're going to move into prayer, and I'm going to ask Leslie if she will be kind enough to come and support me as we move forward. And I'm going to do a little, last week I did a little sacred vow of forgiveness. Did I do that? Can't remember. Neither can I. Now I'm going to do a little vow of, a vow to be myself. Okay? So this is just a little exploration into you being yourself to the fullest, and a prayer so it activates this this wisdom from your heart, and it syncs your mind with your heart, so that you have a real direct embodiment of being yourself and taking that out into your world and uplifting your families and your communities. So please close your eyes. So today, as we turn within and we connect with the divine, it's not far away. It's right here. It's right here where we are. It's closer than close. God isn't something out there. It's a feeling and a knowing inside me. I know this because I'm alive. I'm alive and I'm vibrant. And I'm aware that I have already received the kingdom, the queendom. Life is stretched out before me, rich, laid out abundantly like a banquet table. I know what I value in life because I feel it in my heart. We've heard it today: love, peace, community, my family, passion, aliveness, love, creativity, liberation, exploration, curiosity, new beginnings. So I feel it in my heart. I feel myself coming alive, awakening, becoming more of who I am, of letting go of anything that has limited me in the past, of expressing myself as the divine being that I am, alive, awake, engaged, and so grateful. I know that today I am a channel of blessings for so many. Why do I know this? Because I am willing to be myself. I don't hold back. I'm not shy. I'm ready. I'm on the leading edge of my own becoming more authentic to the love that I am, to the peace that I am. I'm becoming brighter, like the sun. I shine on everything and everyone I meet. It shines through my eyes. It is extended through my actions. Every thought I think uplifts, inspires. My thoughts and my words and my actions all line up with who I am becoming. Any self-doubt, any confusion is simply dissolving, even now, being released and let go of and dissipating into the nothingness from whence it came. As I come back to myself and I take this position of mindfulness, of walking with respect, of being responsible for all that I think and say and do, I come back to myself. I stay present in the oneness as the one. And as this becomes a part of my DNA, my cellular structure, it moves through the past and into the future, blessing and uplifting my ancestors. As I take my place in the world as myself, alive, unique, connected, powerful, creative. For this I am blessed. For this blesses the world, and it blesses all. For this I give thanks. And so it is. And so it is. Okay. Thank you. That was beautiful. I felt like I was on a cloud. Yeah. So now is our time. We're going to take our offering here. And I thank you in advance for supporting this community with your generosity. And we have a blessing of the offering in our program. And I want you to know that we are a center that practices the law of circulation. So everything that we bring in, we send it back out into the community to uplift and inspire those that are doing good works in this community. Whether it be leaders within our organization, or it be other organizations that are uplifting, spiritually inspiring others. And this month, I think we are actually sending some of our donations to the Ogden Pride Festival, which is coming up in August. So if you haven't been to Ogden Pride, I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun, a lot of good music, and a lot of love and self-acceptance and healing is done in that venue. So let's say together, joyfully I give with gratitude, for I know that as I give, I am given. I allow the abundant nature of the universe to flow through me now. I am so